All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Toronto Mounties series here on Madden 26. We are in the offseason of the 2026 season. Another tough one, right? Under Mike McDaniels, the team went 7-8. We ended up offloading a ton of players like Tyreek Hill to kind of get our team set in a place to where, you know, we're going to continue to get younger and build a strong foundation. This year we fell short. We went to 5-12, and to me it feels a lot like the reasoning for it is because of the QB. He had 3,500 yards, but that was a lot of simulation. It wasn't the slow sim, and it was pretty terrible watching this guy play. He threw 7.3 yards per average throw. He got sacked 48 times. And I think a lot of the sacks were his fault. He just was not ready. In the run game, we got to be better. I think the combination of Devon Achane and Ollie Gordon are going to get there. We just got to figure out how to stay as balanced as we can. Offensively with the weapons, I think Noah Fant had a pretty good year. 689 yards. I believe he did better than his previous years in his career. Yep, that's the most he's had his entire career. 3 touchdowns. His most in a career is 4. So we do have a good weapon in Noah Fant. The other player I'm excited about is Antoine Trapp. He has played really well for us as a rookie. We kind of slowly moved him up, and I think he'll eventually get there. We just got to see how it can work out. He was a second-round pick, and it's not going to stop us from getting there. And the reason why I say that is I think Jalen Waddle is more of a slot receiver than he is on the outside. I don't think he can do well on the outside. I want to get another weapon out there to kind of help him out. And there's some pretty good wide receivers in this draft, potentially in the offseason, that can help us out. O-line, we're going to continue to work through that. I think from rookie perspective, I think McClung did well, but Knox had a little tough time. I think he's going to be just fine, though, by the time we get to the season. Javier Sierra got thrown into the mix there. He played right tackle, gave up 10 sacks, but I think, again, this rookie's going to do right. McDaniels moving him to left guard, I think has been a good play for us. And then, honestly, Patrick Paul and Jonah Williams, that's going to be a fight right there. I think that's going to be a spot where, one of those guys are going to earn it and hopefully be okay from that standpoint. Defensively, Leo Chanel was the man of the hour. He did such a great job, and we paid him for that, right? We wanted him to be that dog, and I think he's doing exactly what we need him to do there. The corners are playing fine. I think Tyrone Snow had a really good year. Hitting 108 tackles, I think, was a really nice situation for him. I thought that would have gotten him over the mark there, but I guess not. So it is what it is. You got Sean Murphy Bunting out, that Mustafa playing free safety. I think we're going to have to figure out where to move Mustafa. I think I'm going to try to have him play in the box on the sub linebacker positions to kind of get us strong in that space there and allow us to run with Kobe Bryant and our free safety. I think his name was McCoy. Yep, Ronald McCoy. We need to get him out there. We need to get these guys going. Boye Mafe, I think, had a pretty good year. He had 16 TFLs. Bradley Chubb had 22 with 8.5 sacks. Kenneth Grant had 13.5 as a defensive tackle. So what does this mean, right? We have Mafe. We got Chop Robinson. They were pretty equal in that space. What do you do with Bradley Chubb? Well, to me, Bradley Chubb is probably a guy I'd like to put on the block. I think that's going to be an opportunity there to be able to move on from him. And the reason for that is I'm looking forward to checking out players like Rashawn Clayton, who we drafted last year, giving him more reps, along with the other guy in Kerry Scott. He's a right edge. He's got star dev. I think it's time to get these guys some reps and hopefully be ready to roll when the time comes. Now, the big question is, what do you do with Tua Tagovailoa, right? With his contract, it's really tough to probably sell him to another team. $53 million a year is really, really tough. So as much as I think we could trade him, I don't think it makes sense to do so. I think what you have to do here is try to release him. We free up about 24.6 million this year. We incur a penalty of 28.8, so I think that splits between the two summers, and then we are good to go there. I think we're going to do that during the free agency time, though, because actually we are in the free agency time, I believe so. We are, then I can split it out. We are. So we're going to go ahead and cut Tua Tagovailoa, which will give us an opportunity to free up some space, and hopefully we'll be able to see something better for him down the road as, you know, probably the best QB out there right now from an OVR standpoint. We wish him the best of luck. We restructured Jalen Waddle's contract. I don't know if we need to restructure anybody else's. I don't think we're at that point just yet, but I'm excited to see what we can do with Boye Mafe and Chop Robinson in the future. I think the D-line needs some work, but with Zach Sealer, I don't think there's anything bad with how he's been playing so far. That was the only person I really saw myself trying to cut at this time. That gives us a total of 54 players, so we got a little bit of room. When you look at the salary, though, what does that do for us? How much does that free up for these Dolphins? Quite a bit. You're talking about $71.8 million, 31. So we got about $40 million in cap space there, to include the rookie reserves, which we have, by the way, a ton of picks. We really stacked up our picks now. We got 2 first rounders. We have a second, 2 thirds, 2 fours, a 5, 2 6s, and 3 7s. So we loaded up this year to set us up for the future. Now, whether we use all these picks, that's the decision, right? Where I feel like we have an opportunity to leverage that early pick for something really solid. Overall, there's a chance we can use that early pick for a player that might be on the block, and I'm definitely interested in that. As far as players that I have favorited right now, I have a little over 45 players that I have favorited. One position we're able to take advantage of is the wide receiver group, and what I like about these draft classes now is you have an opportunity to find some really crazy steals in the UDFAs that no one would expect, and one guy here in Jay Hawkinson could be that guy. He's got a 4.42 40 with a 12 bench, and he's got a 34.2 inch vert. Great cone and shuttle. I think this guy could be a nice little steal for us. You got some like round 3 and 4 guys here that I think could work out over time. You're also looking at on the O-line. There's some really interesting picks right here. We've focused on the O-line, and it's looking like those guys that I tried to look at initially aren't the greatest. I mean, Adrian Cicito I thought was going to be clean, but it's not so great. But it is looking like Charles Young could be a very good tackle for us. Now, do we make that move and draft a tackle? I think eventually we have to. I don't know if we have to do that so early in this draft. Maybe we do it in the second round, not maybe one of those 2 first rounders. We do want to make sure we continue to draft, though. You want to make sure your O-line is in a spot that makes sense. But I am focused on trying to bring in, this year looks like to be the year of really decent tackles. So the interior line works out. I want to get the linebacking core in a place that I'm comfortable with. I think we got one Mike linebacker. I want to get that going. And then the corners, right? We got Jack Jones. We have Tyrone Snow, and Snow's done well, but you don't stop. I think there's some pretty good early round linebacker corners that could surprise us. And there's one right here in Jamarcus Pryor, 6'3", 205 pounds. He ran the fastest 4.40, and then he's strong as heck. This is a guy that looks like he's going to be the generational type talent. Now, do you draft him in the top 5? I don't think so. I think the reason why I say that is there's another player here in the wide receiver group that is a top 5 talent, and that is Amari Wheatley. This guy right here could potentially be the big star that we need on the outside for our future quarterback. Now, is our quarterback Quinn Ewers? Probably not. Is our quarterback one of these guys in the draft? I don't think so, but I will put them in here to see if maybe they could compete for that spot. I think we're going to need a quarterback in the free agency to kind of hold it down as we continue to draft the way we want. Now, as far as free agents that are out there, you know, we could try to say we'll take on Anthony Richardson. No. I think when it comes down to it, I want to look for some players that could be solid. And there was a guy here that I thought was quite interesting, Mark Cohen, who's got an X factor. He's only a 71 overall, but you're talking about a player that could potentially compete right now for the Mounties. We could bring in a young guy here. His accuracy is not bad. His throwing the run is okay. He's got decent speed. When you look at where he's at, his stamina is a little bit of a concern, but if we can run the ball a little bit, I would not be upset. You're talking about no abilities right now. He's got safety valve, catching prowess of all open plays, so we can get that going. He's got eyes up and double back, can scramble away from the sideline to keep the play alive. So I like this. That's a QB that I'd be really interested in bringing in this year's off-season free agency. We have $39.6 million. I thought we were going to have more than that, but we don't. We have $39.6 million, which is still not bad to set this team up. We don't really need much because we got 54 players. I think what we can do here is just kind of continue to build through it. There's actually a running back in this year's draft that I thought was pretty solid. I like what we have, though. They're still young. Ollie Gordon, Devon Achane, Jalen Wright, I think they can still do fine. But if one of these running backs fall to us late, I'd say why not? Now, although I saw that wide receiver there, do you try to say, you know what? What if we spent money on a player like Zay Flowers? What if we looked at maybe some depth here in the wide receiver core? I wouldn't be upset about that. I think you look at someone like Quentin Johnston, who's got 88 catching. He's got the outside ability. Again, it's about trying to prep our team and have weapons for our quarterback. And you don't stop just because it's like, oh, I got Jalen Waddle and I got Antoine Trapp. Let's go ahead and stop there. I think this is a pretty cheap deal. He's only asking for about $7 million. You're talking about a guy who's 25 years old that still has the ability to kind of grip it and rip it there. They're out in the field. So I don't think there's anything wrong with someone like Quentin Johnston here, a former Charger. Tight ends, as much as I would like to bring in a tight end, I don't think there's any real reason there. I mean, you could bring in some depth, but I think the tight ends that we have are just fine. I really thought about looking at tackles. I just didn't see any ones that were out there that were intriguing. I think the ones we have are more than enough. I could look at some depth there, and Andrew Voorhees is one that I think could be pretty solid as a backup, but we got plenty of guards there. I think if I am going to look for any type of O-line, it's probably going to be a center with decent awareness, and I see someone like Jarrett Patterson as being that guy that can back up our center, our current center right now with no concerns. You could always look at edge rushers, right? Kayvon Thibodeau's out there now. Giants did not extend him. He's not a bad player. I mean, $13 million for an edge rusher. I just don't see the reason to do that. I think we signed Boye Mafe last year. We have Chop Robinson, who was drafted to the Dolphins franchise. So I don't really want to do that. I think I'd maybe look at some other pieces like some vets or something like that. I mean, Anthony Jennings wouldn't be bad either, but I want to look for some guys that are interested to play for us. Yetur Gross-Matos couldn't be a bad fit. I mean, he's asking for about $9 million. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up over time. Defensive tackle, I'm always interested in trying to get the DTs going. I think we do have a decent spot with Zach Sealer still here. We can't really let him go. I think we're going to have to roll with him for now. I mean, you got Lucas Van Ness. That'd be a pretty sick find right there. Him paired up. I just don't know about spending $11.7 million on him when you have Boye Mafe out there and Chop Robinson. Doesn't make sense to spend that much money on a guy like that when we're trying to let go of someone like Nick Chubb. Not sure. You got some Sam linebackers here. Leo Chanel's been doing his thing, but we got to consider getting that right. I think I want to get some more depth in the middle linebacker position, in the Mike position. I think I wouldn't be upset with someone like Logan Wilson right there. I think that can really help out with our guys. And as far as the will linebacker, I think we're fine here. But, Channing Tindall couldn't be a bad fit for us. Corners, there really isn't anybody out there that is super crazy. You got Kobe Durant. I mean, he could play some depth, but I'd rather just go after some smaller, like low-end players. Like, I could bring back Cam Smith for a cheap deal. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You could look at some other guys, like even Akella Weatherspoon playing in the slot or something like that, too. I do like Keshawn Nixon, 30 years old. Dude's a dog. So I really like how he plays out there. Free safeties, we really don't need to do anything here. I think we got the free safeties in order. I do need a long snapper, so I have to decide, right, are we going to grab a long snapper here in like Hogan Hatton and kind of work out with him? Do we snag a guy like Jose Sanchez, who looks like he's a second-year long snapper, or we just draft one late? We got 3 7th-round picks, so that could be the case there. But those are the guys that are available. We will talk about who we sign at the end of the free agency period. So we're looking to try to find a trade now for Bradley Chubb. He's on the block. Wanted to see if I can find something here with the Seahawks to see if they have any pieces there. Now, Bradley Chubb is 31 years old, but he is still better than the current edge rushers that they have on the roster now. Is there a player that we can kind of take now and rock with it? I don't think so. I think they're kind of low on a lot of space, on a lot of pieces there. I don't know why they did it, but they brought in Kyle Hamilton. So what are they going to do with Nick Emmanwori? I mean, we could bring him in and have Kobe Bryant going against him, but I just don't think that's really necessary. If they had a piece here, I'd be okay. Now, they gave up their first round pick, right? I think it might have been the Tyreek Hill trade or something like that. So I don't know if this is the team we want to get some picks from. Seattle's kind of shot when it comes to picks now. They don't really have anything there. We could go after like their first round next year or something like that. But I'm wondering if they just have a player on the block. So we'll look at the Seattle Seahawks real quick. Do they have anybody that's on the block that we could work through it? They got Mitch Babineau. They got Patrick McCall. They got Chris Paul Jr., a will linebacker. They got some corners. They got Tom Stover. They got a Jarek Reed right there. Jalen Milroe. How cool would that be to bring him in, right? Jalen Milroe, he doesn't have any traits. It's kind of crazy. Quickly attempt to throw. They're checked down, not wanting the ball to play to develop. Will tend to escape the pocket after making the first read. I think that's probably where he's at right now. Throw bullet passes. I could see that. No tendency to leave the pocket. Almost, yeah, he's always moving. So, I mean, that wouldn't be bad. They got him on the block. They don't really need him, I guess, which is kind of crazy. Would that be enough for us, right? Because there are some there are some players that we picked up in the offseason to maybe have a pretty interesting combination there. That would free up some space, but do they even have a QB now? I mean, they won't have anyone after that. So do they give up on him? Potentially. I think what we can do here is with the Jalen Milroe pickup, I think that we can get a little interesting here. I'm wondering if I could trade. I wonder if we can do, like, we trade a 4th round pick and potentially swap 3s. I wonder if we could do that. So we get another 4th rounder, and you send Chubb there. It's a young prospect in Milroe, but he's not really going anywhere. So I'm wondering if we can When we pick 74 there, they are pick 82, so they get to move up a couple spots. We get their extra 4th round and a QB. I think that's pretty fair. And there you go. Bradley Chubb is going into the NFC, and we wish him the best of luck there. So with the amount of draft picks that we made, we're going to go ahead and recap where we're at right now, and where the league is at with the free agents. These are the signings that we made. We went after Quentin Johnston. I think this is a good player for us. You're talking about a 3-year deal for $22.5 million. Not that much for a young outside wide receiver that could help us out. With Johnston and Trapp on the outside, you have the opportunity to move Waddle in the slot. It doesn't mean we're done drafting wide receivers. We focused on that in this year's draft, and we were going to snag some players in that space. We grabbed a good veteran in Logan Wilson coming over from the Bengals. He's 31 years old. A 1-year deal for $8 million isn't bad at all. I wanted to bring in a fullback. He wanted to play for us. 3-year deal for $6 million. Not bad for a fullback. No Alec Ingold anymore. You got to move on and bring him in. Tyree Wilson. So there was either Lucas Van Ness or Tyree Wilson. Tyree wanted to play for us. I got him for 2 years for $10 million on a $4 million bonus. Very cheap deal for a former first-round pick right there. Grabbed a good veteran in Keyshawn Nixon. Not only can he play the corner for us in the outside or the slot, but he can also play special teams. Brought in a good veteran center in Jarrett Patterson to back up McCoy. Found a Packer tight end here that I really was a fan of. Tucker Kraft is in a whole other realm than Luke Musgrave, but having Luke here with Noah Fant could be an interesting combo there. And this is the quarterback, folks, that I said I was looking at, Mark Cohen, who is a X factor. It's going to take him a little bit before he can actually start activating certain abilities, but this is a good start. Knowing where he's at right now, there's a chance that this guy can blow up. We got eyes up and double back there are his current traits. We also went after a Mike linebacker, so I think we went after 2, right? So you got Logan Wilson, and then we went after Jamin Davis. I think I'm going to try to move Jamin Davis to Sam. I think he can actually play pretty solid as a Sam. I actually want to do that, so at least we can get the Sam there. Maybe we draft another guy, but I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of organizing the linebacker roles there. And hopefully they'll be ready to roll in that space. And then we went after a right tackle, mainly, someone with some depth pieces to help out the rook. But the guy has 82 awareness. I think he's going to be fine as a backup. And then I found another quarterback, folks. So there's going to be a competition this offseason, this preseason. You got Mason Nowak. He's got a star dev, 23 years old, another player here that's got some decent stats and can play backup. So we're going to see Mason Nowak out there. We're going to see Jalen Milroe out there. And you're looking at QBs, right? So this guy's got quick clock, escapes the pocket after making the first read. With this trait, he'll attempt to scramble for yards if they can get it. Then you got, he looks for the stars, so he's going to aim for players like Waddle and Font. He's got some happy feet there. He's always moving around. And then you got players with this trait will attempt to avoid hits by performing slides. So love that. So we're going to see a pretty cool situation in the preseason. We'll probably end up getting some notes there on where these guys are going to stand. So it'll be kind of fun. We do have the ability, right, to toggle that setting of auto pass. So we'll be able to kind of check out these players from that angle and see where they're at from that space. So we'll have some tape for the preseason shortly. Now, as far as the players across the league, right, as far as quarterbacks that were signed, Tua Tagovailoa is now the new quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. They signed him for a monster contract, folks. 4-year, 200. And it looks like, oh my gosh, that is insane. It's like 210 million, maybe. I think that's where it's at, right? So yeah, 90 leaves that 11. Yep, that's about a 213, almost $214 million contract. So Tua got paid. We wish him the best of luck there in New Orleans. Anthony Richardson heading to the Raiders. They paid him money, 68.51. You're talking about 100 and what is that, 119 mil? Golly, these quarterbacks getting paid. Mac Jones going to the Colts. Tyler Shuck, he got a deal. He was a former second-round pick, gets drafted by the Saints, cut, and then moves to the freaking Falcons. Drew Lock to the Colts. And then Emory Jones from Cincinnati going, College of Cincinnati going to Minnesota. Tony Pollard's going to the Saints. Charbonnet heading to Washington. Khalil Herbert to the Falcons. Rashad White to the Vikings there. Wide receiver Zay Flowers is a Ram. He got paid, folks. $106.4 million for a 4-year deal. Not bad at all. Michael Pittman going to the Titans to help out Cam Ward. So the Colts kind of unloaded some guys. Interesting there. Michael Wilson to the Titans. So you got some new targets there for Cam Ward. Jalen Noel, he was on our practice squad. We brought him up. Now he's going to get paid with the Seattle Seahawks. Dontavian Wicks going to the Jets. Interesting moves there. Tight ends, Darnell Washington going to the Texans. Schultz is a Seahawk. Dawson Knox leaving the Bills and going to the Rams. Nothing crazy there. I mean, Isaac Suamalo, that's what I would love to see, man. That's what I would love to see for the Giants. See here 2026, but that's pretty cool there. Elgin Jenkins to the Panthers. You're looking at Max People. So this is a guy that wasn't on our board, 23 years old. He looks like he was a find. Jawan Taylor going, oh no, that is horrendous. That guy is the false start king. Edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau to the Panthers. Wow, Azeez Ojolari looks like he got cut after Bradley Chubb went there. And wow, they let Azeez go. Leonard Williams to the Falcons. I tried to bring in Leonard Williams. I guess he ended up getting a little bit more money there, $16 million. Grover Stewart to the Giants. Byron Murphy to the Falcons. Joey Bosa is a Raider now. Andrew Van Ginkel to the Chargers. Byron Young, he's staying with the Rams. So he left and he got paid. Lucas Van Ness to the Seahawks. Woo! Nate Herberg was a guy I was thinking about bringing in. Really good, solid player there. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. We still got so many picks heading into this draft, folks. That's the thing that I'm realizing right now. Like, do not stress too much with the free agents. We did enough to where I think we fulfilled a lot of need, but you're talking about multiple thirds, first, thirds, fourths, sixes, and sevens. Plenty of space for us to kind of make our moves and allow us to work through that there. Looks like we do have some private workout selections that we got to do here. And this is where, again, I want to make sure, like, are we scouting these guys appropriately? Are these guys the guys for us? The wide receivers, I think, are scouted pretty well. When I look at my favorites right now, I want to think about who would I like to properly scout a little bit more on. And, I mean, tackle will always be a fight for us, but knowing where I'm at from a combine standpoint, there were some guys that I thought were really slick. So it looks like Houston didn't go in the combine, so we got him scouted. He's going to be like a day 2 pick, and he's in the day 3, so we might be able to snag him there. But I do want to look at, like, Pryor here. He's a round 1-2 guy, and he looks like the best corner that's out there. I need to know, is he going to be the guy? There's a halfback that, although we got Ollie Gordon and we got Devon Achane, he ran a 4.38 with 29 bench. He looks like another guy that could be a sneaky grab for us. And then again, right, we're always thinking about getting these other positions right, getting these things in order, and I would not be upset with looking at this corner right here, 6'2", 199, Jeremy Rudolph. He's not a good press guy, so we could probably move him in the slot, play off ball, like never pressing, but he was a pretty solid player there. We're going to scout these guys, and hopefully we'll see some good things in that space there. So the player that we scouted, right, was Blaine Wright, and he looks like what we thought. He was going to be a round 1 guy. Really interesting to see that with Blaine. I want to check out the corner. There was a corner we were scouting, right? And Pryor, he's a round 1 too. He looks like he would be a good round 1 guy we can grab there. I think that's pretty sweet. And then the other corner, there it is. We found it out. Jeremy Rudolph is more of a day 3 guy. So glad we made that look. We checked it out. There's a lot of A awareness guys that I would like to snag up. O-line's always something I pay attention to. I think you have to kind of make that work there, but there's a top 5 wide receiver that I want to grab now, and then kind of play that by ear. There's some really good wide receivers, but you take what you can get there. Maybe we could move back a little bit to grab Wheatley, but I don't think we can go back too far. Like if we look at the last mock, right, where do they have Wheatley? Is Wheatley even remotely? No, see, look at that. Amari Wheatley would be picked up at 14. He would not make it to us late. I think we got a late round pick. Yeah, we got pick 30. He would not make it there. So we have to think about that, right? If we were to grab Wheatley in the top 5, I think that's probably a better choice for us to make that decision in the top 5 pick. You grab Wheatley early round. They could consider it a reach, but I don't think it is. I mean, we could technically trade back to maybe like the 8th or 9th pick overall, but I mean, that's a risk right there. You got a guy that could be really solid. Now, there are some other guys, right? Like we could grab Blaine Wright with our last pick in the first round, and that would still be a great grab. But what do we do with the remainder of the picks? There's a tackle out there we can look at, and we have been scouting tackles, and the tackles are not bad with where we're at. I believe we got some solid guys here. Yeah, so you got Young would be that late pick. Now, where is Young in the mock? I don't know. Let's see where would he fall. Would he make it? Charles Young, he wouldn't, dude. Charles Young would get snagged up at 17. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, we move back a little bit, but we're probably going to have to leverage some picks to move up to grab Charles Young, which wouldn't be a bad move. You want to continue to get the players that you want, but you could also say, you know what? If we can't get the tackle there, maybe we wait for the tackle. And that allows us to maybe go after, maybe it allows us to go after, the CB, and we get Jamarcus Pryor. I don't think that would be a bad move either. Now, is Pryor in the mock? That's what we got to check out. If Pryor's in the mock, we're going to be in trouble, because then we're going to have to figure out how to load up. And he's right there, pick 18. They know he's a legit guy. So it's going to be tough, folks, to try to see if we can move up and down this board. I don't know if we're going to be able to grab all the greatest players that we want. I think the only option we have is to potentially move back. But if we did that, right, let's say we tried to make a trade and we said we wanted to move out of the first, the top 5 picks. Where would that put us, right? They would try. Someone's trying to give me DJ Moore and a 2nd round pick. No thanks. T. Higgins and a 4th round. You got Benford. No one's trying to give me one of their 1st round picks. I mean, that wouldn't be happening. Devin Lloyd would be interesting, but again, they're trying to give us players over picks. I mean, J.C. Horn and a 2027 second would be nice, but we are in the 2026 draft, right? So how would that make sense to do that? I think we're in the 2026. Yeah, we're in the 2027. So, I mean, that wouldn't be bad if we did that. So we got some moves right here. Late round picks. Garrett Wilson would be clean. Like, that's not a bad move. J.C. Horn, someone who's 27 years old, alongside Snow and Jack Jones. That would be an incredible combination. I mean, that wouldn't be bad. I don't know if I'd want to move. mean, that's a very tenured guy too, man. That wouldn't be a bad move actually, but there, as you can see, there isn't a whole lot of space, and I'm not trying to trade for a player. I want picks. So we're probably going to have to do that in the draft to where we can make that move there. Now, if we try to trade pick 18, does that get us anything there? What does that look like? Darnell Wright, we wouldn't do that. Marius Mims, wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do that. Mekhi Becton, interesting, but no. Lattimore, nope. Booker, nope. Pierce, dude, they're trying to get rid of Pierce. These guys are dogs, man. That's dog shit. Membo, I just don't get some of these decisions that this CPU would make, man. It's like, that's right there is what I could see happening. Joey Bosa or something like that. But come on, dude. Let's get real, fellers. Now, this one's interesting because they brought in Kyle Hamilton. So Iman Wari is out there. But if we snag him up, we can get like a future third, a future third, and a future seventh. We'd get a strong safety, but we don't really need one. This one's stupid. We wouldn't do that. JC Latham's stupid. We wouldn't do that. So it's just, we're going to have to wait for the draft, folks. But we got the ammunition. I mean, we could trade back a little bit. I think that's fair. We move back. Maybe we get another third to stay in the top 7. I think that's a fair move right there. We maybe get like a third and maybe we ask for like a future third or something like that to move back like 4 spots, because we're not going for a QB. It's not a QB draft. So maybe we could do that with one of the teams that want to trade up within our range. But let's head to the draft, folks, and let's see what happens next. We got 65 players already on our team, so we're staying healthy with the roster build. So the first pick in the draft goes to the Saints, and we're the number 2 overall pick. So again, we got plenty of time, plenty of space. First pick goes to the Saints, and they're going to select defensive tackle Alec Fisher. So let's see where we're at in the draft, right? So they want to give us the 30th pick in the draft. They're willing to go all the way up, and they'll give us 3 first rounders, folks. A future second, and a future 4th. So the Bears are saying we're going to risk it all to move up. The Browns are saying, hey, you move up back like a couple, like 14 spots. We'll give you a first round this year, next year, and a 4th round next year. The Vikings say we're all in, baby. We'll give you the 21st overall pick, but you get next year's first round and the following year's first round, along with this year's 3rd round, a future 6th, and a 7th. That's a package and a half. The Seahawks says, man, we ain't got no more first. We already gave you ours. Now we're going to give you some more first and our 2nd and our 3rd this year, along with our 2nd and our 2nd the following year. Jeez, Lou, bro. Oh my gosh. You're leveraging your entire freaking future for this number 2 overall pick. Y'all are dum-dums. Saints, interesting, no. Ravens, that's too far back. This is the one that would be interesting there. The Rams are saying, hey, you move back to pick 12. We'll give you a 1st this year and a 1st in 2029. I don't want that. I want your 1st this year. I want your, I'd want a little bit more there. I need like your, that's too far back. That's too far back. We wouldn't get the blue chip that I want. This is so interesting. I think we're going to have to fight to move back. We got enough picks, so. Ooh, this is the one right here, the Jets. We move back 5 spots. We get their 1st round this year, their 2nd round this year, a 7th this year, and a 7th next year. That's the best one. We move back 5 spots. I think that's the move there. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars say, hey, man, you move back 1 spot. You can have your 2nd next year and a 7th round this year. That's a good one. The Giants, they'll give us they'll move back. We'll move back 3 spots. We'll get their 2nd next year, the 3rd in 2029, a 7th next year, and a 7th in 2029. We move back 7 spots. We get their 1st round this year and next year, along with the 6th. That one's pretty clean too. The Eagles, no. So it's either the Falcons, the Giants, I mean, the Jaguars would be one where we can kind of do that and then make a choice after. The Jets are very enticing. That's actually a really clean pick right there. But I'm going to go Jaguars. Collect some picks. We get a second round next year. Again, it's about building this team up, kind of maneuvering. We have the ability to do so. That's what we're going to do. We will make the trade. We get a second round next year. We just move back one spot. Why the heck not? Jaguars are going to take Mitch Abrams. So now we go again. What do we want? Bears, no thanks. Bills are now in the game. They're saying, hey man, first, second this year, third next year, fifth next year, seventh next year. You move back 13 spots, we'll give you a first. Nope. Vikings said first this year, first next year to move back 18 spots. Titans, they already drafted, I guess. No, they haven't. Maybe they don't have a first rounder. Seahawks, they're just trying to give us a second round pick. Yeah, they don't have a first rounder. We move back 14 spots for their first and second. Nope. Raiders are going to move back 16 spots to get their first this year and 2 years from now. First and nope. Nope. So they don't want our pick now. The Falcons are still there. We move back 6 spots. We get their 6th and 5th. I don't think that's enough. I think I'm going to try to make a trade with them. I think that's the move there with the Falcons. So we're going to trade our 3rd overall pick with the Falcons. And in return, I think what's fair is a first round this year, a 3rd round this year. Ooh, I think we're going to do this. To move up that far. Yeah, I think a 3rd this year, a 3rd next year, and like a 5th. I think we'll see if that works out. So we get a 3rd round this year to move 6 spots back. We get a 3rd next year, and then we get a 5th the following year. I think that's a fair move. Let's see if that works out. No. Wow. Yeah, they're pretty heavy with these moves here. Okay, so let's go back. Let's see what we would do here. So if we did this. Yeah, see, this is where they're trying to give us picks. I just don't see that happening. I don't see anyone willing to do that. Like, that's insane with some of these moves. So we got to go back here to the trade away pick. What could we get, folks? So, I mean, I don't want to move too far back. I think the Jets, the Falcons is the one I would like. We get a 6th and a 7th. I'd like a 3rd round pick and maybe swap 4s. They got pick 116. Yeah, let's look at that. So let's think about that. If I can't get the pick I want or the trade back I want, I'm not going to do it. I might as well just pick the guy I want. But I think this is a good move for us. We trade with the Falcons. We move back 6 spots. I want their 1st this year. I want their 3rd. And then their 3rd next year. To move back 6 spots, and then I'm willing to give them a chance to move up, and then I'll give them like one of my 7s or something like that. Let's see if that works out. So they get to move up. They get to move up essentially in 2 rounds. We just get an extra 3rd in that mix. So we still get to keep a 3rd and kind of make a maneuver there. And we give him one of the 7s. Let's see if that works out. Wow, dude. So I wonder if I'm going to have to give him... Wow, we're not going to do it. That's too much. I think you make the move here, you make the choice, and you take the player that you really believe in. There's a lot of players in this spot, right? But we want blue chip. I mean, you could grab the other defensive tackle that's out there, but I just don't feel like that's the move. You could grab one of these wide receivers that are above Wheatley, but I think Wheatley is the decision you make. I think you grab this guy. I think you're happy about it. We get an outside, we get a wide receiver that can play everywhere, and I think you got to be happy with it. Not the fastest guy in the combine, but it's a guy you can potentially build, and we'll get him out there. And he can play kick return too, so I'll take that. Pick is in, and it's an A+ pick. 5 in true value. We drafted him at 3. Looks the ball into his hands. Secures hands with defenders in vicinity. Shows refined technique on short routes. So we got another slot guy that we could potentially use here. Maybe a gadget player. I'll take it. I'm happy we did it. We move on now, and we'll see what happens here. Let's check out the next pick. Enrique Moore is the pick there. You got the Giants up at pick number 5, and they're going to take Kalen Atkinson. That's the number 3 DT that was out there. You have the Patriots grabbing Brandon Carter. And then you have the Jets taking Jamal Burley. We got the Chargers coming up. I don't think we have enough ammunition to move up. I'd have to give up a lot of moves to do that. And I think we could. I think I could trade like 3 or 4 picks to move up in like, I think the top 12. So we're going to watch this, see what happens here, see who gets picked up. Jarek Terrell, a right edge, gets taken. You got the Falcons taking Chuck Lockbaum at number 9, a left guard. Pick number 10 is Jason Chancellor. And then you got the Jamarcus Pryor. Oh, he gets taken at 11. Unreal. They knew what we wanted there. So, knowing that, I think you have to see if we can trade with the Rams here at pick number 12. I think they want to tackle, and I think that's what we want to have against them. They need a tackle. So I'm willing to trade for pick 12 from them. I wonder what it would do, what it would take. Oh my gosh, we'd have to give up a first. Wow, dude, look at the packages on these. That is insane, dude. No way, bro. So here's what we're willing to do. I don't think there's any player on my roster that's worth trading them. Oh, that's brutal. I think we're just going to have to wait it out, man. Let's see what happens. They're probably going to take the guy that we want, but it is what it is there. They go CB Darius Knight. Oh, man. Next up, Ramon Torres, a right edge. Steelers are up. They're going to take Jamie Enriquez, left tackle. Cowboys take Adrian Bonta, tight end, because they were supposed to get Pryor. Pryor gets snagged up for 4 picks before them. Browns take Enrique Jimenez, first QB off the board. Browns take him, and then the Commanders are up, and they're going to take Charles Young, you son of a bitch. Oh my gosh, right before us. Oh, that's brutal. That is brutal right there. They snag up the guy right before us. That's who we wanted. Now, you had Brad Rhodes out there. I mean, that's cool. Oh my gosh. I mean, we got some more guys here, and you look at their combine. Oh my gosh, dude. That is unreal right there. How the hell did that happen? Oh my gosh. So they snagged up the guy we wanted. That's brutal. That's real brutal. I think you continue to look for players here. I just don't know if we have anyone that's within the range that I was pumped to get. I think what we do here, as much as I would like Brad Rhodes, I think we trade out. I mean, you do what the Rams did, right? When they were supposed to draft Jackson Dart, We drafted him ahead of the Rams, and then they traded out. I think that's what you do here, is see if you can get something later. We could move back to pick number 21. We get a future 6th and a future 6th. I think we can get a first round next year with the Raiders, or first round next year with the Raiders, and a 3rd this year. We get pretty much the Niners, all their picks. We get the Falcons say, we'll give you all of our picks next year. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th for pick 18. I mean, I think that's a very good haul, knowing we don't want anything. I think you set your team up for the future. You get us in a good spot, and I don't think there's anything wrong about that. So we're going to trade out of the first round, folks. We grabbed a haul of picks to set us up for next year's draft. Nothing wrong with that to set us up. Let's see who they take. Falcons take Brad Rhodes, the other tackle, and they risked it for the biscuit there. Terrell Thomas, left tackle, so it looks like the tackles are falling off the board there. Adrian Salcedo, tons of tackles falling off the board. Logan Buckner, center. Cardinals taking Manuel Aguirre. Man, O-line are going off the board here. Brett Cleary. Corner, Jaron Finney. Cowboys are here with their 2nd pick. They get Garrett Spitzer, Mike linebacker. Eagles take Braden Keene, Mike linebacker. Will linebacker Nick Jacobs to the Kansas City Chiefs. You got Elliot Edwards, center. Wow, man, centers are falling off the board like crazy. Bengals take Jose Garcia. What the hell's going on here? What the hell's going on here? TJ Logan's the next left tackle that goes off the board. And the Panthers take a Will linebacker. So we go back up. And we got a pick coming up after the Saints. Saints are going to go ahead and take tight end Gregory Richardson. So let's see where we're at now. We got some moves. Still plenty of players on the board that are first round caliber. Mainly wide receivers. There is a running back that I'm a big fan of. I don't know if he's going to make it to us again. So knowing that, I think you continue to grab weapons and you are okay with it. The best one right now is Josh Barnhart, playmaker. He's got some break tackle capabilities there, awareness. I kind of want to see what we have as far as the combine is concerned, though. Where are they all standing? I mean, Leo Barwin is a slot receiver with a 4.39 freaking 40, 17 bench, 37 freaking, I mean, Barnhart, though, looks legit, folks. He's 23 years old. His vert's there. His cone is better. His shuttle's better. 6'2", 211. This is another big dog that can help us out. Barwin's faster. He's bigger. But I feel like when I see this, he's got everything. And I think that's what we want to do. We take another weapon for our young QBs. And I think we roll with it here. Josh Barnhart, welcome to the Mounties. 7 in true value. We drafted him at 34. Looks the ball into the hands. All-star contested catch ability. Comes with the toughest catches. And hidden dev, baby. We'll take it. 92 speed, 95 acceleration. So knowing now we don't have any more picks in the second round, I think I'm going to go ahead and start skipping everything. And let's get to the next pick. Let's see what happens here. The first round was interesting. Definitely people maneuvering their way around it. We have 2 third-round picks. So let's see what's still out there. Not sure if all of our guys are there, but we'll see what we got. So we got some, round 3 and 4. You got another wide receiver that's still pretty slick. So the wide receivers look pretty solid. We can go after a defensive tackle, and both these guys look like dogs. I want to see the DTs real quick in this range. This could be really enticing here. You look at the combine. of the DTs. Both of these guys are classified as nose tackles. Both are dogs. I mean, Gordon Barnhart, holy hell. I mean, his boost isn't that great, but his broad jump is pretty much equal to the other. 3-cone is freaking faster. I mean, Gordon Barnhart looks like a freak of nature here. Lacks discipline, resulting in avoidable, but he's going to be backing up Zach Sealer and stuff. He's got B finesse at this range with this type of physicality. I mean, you can't be upset about that. You bring in a dog, and I think you got to be happy about that. Gordon Barnhart, welcome to the Mounties. 39 in true value. We drafted him at 66. It says B minus, but maybe it's because he's not, you know, a need. But I'm ecstatic. We got a dog there. I'm really happy about that. Let's wait. Let's see what our next pick's going to be. Pick 82. Where do we stand there? I mean, we continue to make good moves, and I'm pretty happy about that. So what's out there still? You look at our favorites here. Actually, let's go outside of that. It looks like, yeah, there's still possibilities here. So you got another wide receiver in Jimmy Mann. His awareness isn't great, but he's like another wide receiver that could be really nasty. 6'6", 207 pounds. His catching is horrendous, though, folks. Really, really bad. But boy, oh boy, you can't teach height. He's just, yeah, we got to wait on that. Dang, man. Kind of interesting there, though. Let's see what we got here in the favorites. Is there anybody else we'd like to snag up here? I mean, you got the QB. I mean, I don't think he's that bad. This is one of those guys. He's got A accuracy, short accuracy, B medium. I mean, he could back up our other guys. That'll be 4 quarterbacks that we'd have on the roster. Quinn Ewers would basically be done. I don't know. I think we'll wait on that one. That was an interesting play there, but not yet for a QB. The corner I thought was going to be interesting. It just didn't work out the way there. I think we wait on him if possible. The wide receivers, though, plenty of space there for the wide receivers. As you can see, we got this guy right here in Hawkinson that I'm really interested in bringing in the late rounds. So where we stand here, do we really need anything else? Probably not. I mean, you got some potential here on free safeties. There's an edge rusher that looked to be decent. 6'4", 257. B finesse move. I mean, he had an okay combine. He's not screaming, but this is a day 2 pick, like late day 2 pick. So are you upset about it? Probably not. I think you get the B finesse move and you run with that. He's got some C power move there. I mean, you could probably, with his speed, you could, I mean, I don't know. It says, I think we grabbed the DT that we needed. Can you move Brad Wilson to a will linebacker at that speed? Probably not. 4.69 doesn't really scream amazing there. I think we're gonna have to, yeah, see, look at all these guys. There was nothing too crazy. There's a DT here, Cody O'Connell. There is a CB in Oscar Slaughter. Zone 6'3", 186. Yeah, he is slow, man. You can convert him to a... You got this strong safety here. 6'1", 214. B pursuit, B hit power. What are they telling us? Struggles to find the ball, and he often looks to rip the ball from runners. Has a motor that runs through the whistle. Probably a later round pick there. We'll think about this one. So we're going to trade the pick away. What could we get? We can get a later round, 3rd round pick, a 5th, and a 7th next year. I'm going to see if I can snag up some late, like future picks. Cleveland will give us a third next year. I mean, that one's actually enticing with the Houston trade. I don't really want to pick this year. If I can move, yep, that's it right there. Seahawks, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We'll take it. That's an easy move. Seahawks are all in, huh? Fuck them picks is what they decide to do, I guess. Move out of the 4th, out of the 3rd, and into the 4th now. So this is early day 3. What do we do with our picks here? We got a lot of 4th round picks, a lot of later round guys. I think this is where we can make our money here. I think what you want to do is continue to try to snag up pieces where you can. Wide receivers, tons of space here. As you can see, we got some pretty decent moves. Jay Hawkinson's around 1-2. Catching. He's a good slot receiver. Could back us up if Waddle were to get hurt. Good speed. So we already drafted Wheatley who can help that. But like I said, there's nothing wrong grabbing weapons now. Looks like he's going to be a short route guy anyways out of Oklahoma. I think this is the move you take. You get it done. Jay Hawkinson is a Mountie. 36 in true value. We drafted him at 98. Makes 50-50 balls look like 80-20. Crisp route running on shorter routes. Hands made of glue. That's what I'm talking about there. Normal dev. It is what it is there. But you leverage this guy for some possibilities. Get him in some formation subs. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We got another pick at 108. And this is where I could see myself maybe kind of just snagging up some day 3 guys that can fit with what we want. And Schneider's still out there. He's fallen. You got Steven Spencer, a power rusher that is still falling off the board there. And he's got the B power move. He's definitely faster than others and stronger. But he doesn't have anything great. Well, the power move is there. I think you try to build that up, get the rotation right. 270, 6'4" out of Fresno State. You take it, you run with it, and hopefully he develops in... Is there any Will linebackers out there? Or Sam? Let's see if there's any Sam. There's a day 3 guy here. Mark Hewitt, A tackle, 6'2", 232. He's decent. I mean, A tackle ain't bad. B awareness. Will he make it to us? Probably. What about the mics? You got a couple guys that are mics right here. Will Bowers. Wills. There's the mics right there. What about corners? We messed up on the corner, man. I was hoping to grab a decent corner and it didn't work out. I mean, he's probably the better one right there, and he's a UDFA. And I mean, I guess you take the edge, right? You take the guy that's there. The favorites. You take the guy that's there and you kind of run with it. I think Spencer's not a bad player there. I mean, we continue to try to build it up. We got picks, so move on there. 155 in true value. We drafted him at 108. Getting stronger is a must. Struggles to break free. Finesse moves need work. 82 speed, 82 acceleration, so he could play in that potential special teams if need be there. We move around. We get to 114, and this is where I want to pick up that Sam linebacker. I think you do that. You get the guy that you want, and you kind of make that okay there. I think that's what I like. So I want to take Hewitt. He's got 8 tackling. I think he's solid. He's a day 3 pick. Let's see if it works out. 197, drafted him 114. Wrap up and drag down tackler. Slow linebacker in today's game. Shows good instincts. So I'm good with that. I think you take those good with the bad there, and you roll with it. So we got some, day 3 picks. We're kind of loaded with day 3 picks. We only got 1 5th round pick. I mean, is there really anybody there that we're super pumped about? Not really. I mean, you got this guy here who's, I don't think so. There's no one there that's within this range that I'm super pumped about. I mean, could get Kramer now and kind of roll with it. But I don't see myself trying to do that there. I think we're going to trade out because we got a lot of picks. I mean, we blew it up for the future. That's the goal there. 2029 4th. 2028 4th from the Vikings. Ravens give us a 4th and a 7th next year. I think that's the move right there. I think you try to get the 4th round next year and you roll with it. I think that's good. We get a extra mid-round pick next season, and we head to the 6th round. We got a lot of picks. I need to get a long snapper. That's going to be something I will get done here. But as you can see in this one, we got 2 6th round picks, so we still got plenty of space here. You got some guys that are out there. I don't think any of these guys are amazing players whatsoever. I don't know if we have anybody within decent awareness. I mean, you got a right tackle in Eric Bryan that could be something, but do you take him here and you make it work? You just put him in the practice squad? I mean, he's not bad. I just don't want to, as much as I want to take an O-lineman this year, we just didn't. And I think we set up the team in a good spot where we got all of our players ready to roll. So I don't think I really need much here. I'd prefer, if we're just going to snag somebody up, we might as well grab somebody who's a 2-3. Oh, the 2-3 round guy is gone. So we got Dorsey there. I'd rather trade out because we can use our 7th round picks to snag up these guys. So we trade back. I mean, the Bears 2028 5th, not wrong, not bad there. You take that, again, you're loading up picks. It doesn't mean we use all the picks. Next year we can trade those picks for players in this upcoming season. You never know. But I think with where we stand right now, I just don't see myself trying to grab ridiculous guys here. There's just no reason to. I mean, there's a will right here in Adrian Wall. He's got B zone coverage. Lacks discipline resulting in avoidable penalties. 4.68, but he's got actually good lateral move. Change of direction's great. B zone coverage, B man coverage. Man, that's a special teams guy right off the bat. We get our guy. We get some linebacker, special teams guys. 339. Holy shite, dude. We got to get linebacker scouting for sure. Oh my gosh, that's bad. Head to the 7th, and this is where we got 1, 2, 3. Is that right? 1, 2. We got back-to-back picks here, so I want to go ahead and look at the long snapper. Let's get that out of the way. Let's snag him up right here. You get Reggie Bailey. You get the long snapper that you need. 91 in true value. We drafted him at 194. Snapping on special becomes room to become stronger and fill out his frame. Football IQ still improving. Hey man, we'll take it. We need a long snapper. We roll with that. So we make sure to grab him. What is still out there that is interesting? I don't think there's anything out there that's super crazy. I mean, I think about speed all the time. Like, what is out there? What could work? And you got a strong safety that can work out there. I mean, you still got Tyson Price. That's pretty solid wide receiver. But I figure you take a strong safety that's out there. You know, you got some crazy players that are still out there. Eric Bryan, he's not bad. You look at some edge rushers. You got some defensive tackles. I think you take Man, this guy is not that great. Oh, he's really bad. He might as well be a like a UDFA. Man, these guys are not that good. You got the guard there. Don't really need a guard. I mean, these are 7th round picks. I don't think you're going to lose your mind on these. You try them out. They make it great. But I'd prefer to try to go after a strong safety here. Let's see if we can find something in this space. Cordell Wheatley. 178 true value. Drafted him at 195, so needs more time in the field room. Hits lack power faster on tape. So I'm good with that. I think you get that going there. And we get one more pick here. It's another early 7th rounder. And this is where, I mean, do we got any other room right there? It looks like we got one more wide receiver. He's a mid-3rd rounder, 5'9", 197. He's a slot guy again. I mean, you take these guys and you hope it works out for them. I mean, do we really need that many wide receivers? Ugh. This is where it's like, well, tough, dude. I mean, there is a QB out here. He's got the strong arm. Dennis Tiller. This is the hefty, it's not the hefty lefty, it's the hefty righty. 6'2", 301 pounds, folks. I really just want to see what this guy can do. We're going to draft him. We're going to draft him. 380, drafted him one. Look at this guy, dude. He's huge. So I'm like, let's just see what we got with him. It is what it is there. Looking forward to seeing what the draft looks like now. Oh crap, we still got another pick. We have, yeah, I figured, I thought we had 4 7th rounders. So we grabbed the hefty righty there. And when you look at the day 3, there really isn't much at this point. When you look at what's out, I mean, you can go after Tyson Price. You got some other wide receivers there, but none of them are really what I want. I'd rather just see who was a combine freak. Let's see who was the combine freak. Who was the fastest? Looks like Mayo was the fastest. Who was the strongest? It looks like Villarreal was the strongest. He's a right guard. Followed by the Vallejo, 6'5", 342. This guy looks like a freak. Do we need another DT though? I mean, you put him in the practice squad maybe. I mean, I think we look at this right guard. We'll see what we got here. I mean, he's kind of a big dog. Let's see what we can do. And Mateo Villarreal, 271, draft him at 210. Is what it is there. Not that crazy. I mean, we kind of just threw a bunch of darts at the wall there and just figured out hopefully something sticks. So Shaquille Barrett has finally called it a career. All in all, not bad. Let's see what our draft recap tells us. It looks like we snagged up a 78 overall player in Amari Wheatley with hidden dev coming out of Michigan. Looking forward to seeing what this guy can do, right? I think he's got all the abilities to do something, and we can stick him at punt returner, which could really allow Keyshawn Nixon to kind of chill. And then we snagged up Barnhart, number 2 in the 2nd round. Hidden dev, 23 years old at a USF, 6'2", 211. He could play on the outside already. Decent release starting point. Like, we got some wide receivers, and he can kick return too. So we got some youngsters that could do their thing. We snagged up Gordon Barnhart, norm dev, but he's 74 overall. He can help us out in the middle. You know, he's a potential fill-in spot when something happens to Sealer. We grabbed Hawkinson, 74 overall. I think this was a move for us that it just made sense to grab him and ensure that we were going to be settling in that spot. 68 overall in Spencer, not the greatest, but, you know, I think we can use him for depth piece there. We snagged up a Sam linebacker, 66 overall. It is what it is. But I think he can help us out if something were to happen to Leo Chanel. We grabbed a 71 overall long snapper, and then as you can see, definitely some misses here. I am so excited though to see this guy. Holy shit, he's got hidden dev. Oh my gosh. Dennis Tiller, the hefty righty. Oh my gosh, bro. 6'2", 301 pounds with hidden dev. I didn't see that. I didn't look at his freaking attributes. How sweet is this? This is going to be fun, bro. We're going to check him out in the preseason for sure. There's going to be some competition. And I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what happens there. Now, who was the best player overall in the NFL? We'll definitely check that out. I'm assuming it's got to be, yep, there it is. The defensive tackle, 84 overall, Alec Fisher. He's going to the Saints. I mean, they don't believe in Brian Bassie, I guess. So they're going into the middle there. Oh my gosh. Oh, the game froze. So I guess there's a glitch there where you can't look at individual players, but that was really cool to see where we stood. I guess we could have taken the guards. There were some guards in this draft that were better than where we were, but I'm happy we did it. This one hurts. Jamarcus Pryor. I mean, we could have moved up. I just don't know how far we could have moved up for him. Blaine Wright was the other running back I was interested in, but I didn't think it made sense with what we needed in our draft. I would have been really excited to see Charles Young. I mean, it would have been great to have him, but again, we weren't going to use him initially, so it is what it is there. All in all, not too bad for the Giants, for the Mounties. I think we did some good things. We'll go ahead and adjust the lineup real quick, kind of see where we stand in that space, what would the adjustments look like, and this is where it would stand right now. So Paul is going to be starting at left tackle. We got all our youngsters there now on the line. We're going to see Musgrave out there. Barnhart's going to be fighting for some time along with Wheatley, so I'm interested in seeing how that's going to look like. We'll see Cohen, Milroe. We're going to see the hefty righty out there. That's going to be pretty fun to see how these QBs all work in tandem. The fullback looks pretty solid there, 76 overall. Linebackers, I think it's going to be fun. I think this is going to be really fun to see where these guys are at. What the heck's going on here? Why would... Oh, wait, because he can't play the Sam and the Mike, right? Yeah. You know, the Sam out there, but special teams, we're going to see potentially Wheatley out there. I'd probably see Barnhart and Wheatley kind of take turns from a specialist standpoint. So Chanel's out there in the sub linebacker position. Boye Mafe. Yeah, I'm really happy about what this team looks like. And we got a bunch of great slot receivers. Wheatley, Barnhart. I think we're going to see some good things there. I'd like to see that as the nose tackle, and then Barnhart's going to have to take some time there. Wondering if we do this so that he can get some reps there. But we'll mix it up. Preseason's going to be fun. We have plenty of players. We are at 76. So we're going to have to cut somebody real quick because I don't want them to auto cut. This game does some weird things. So who do we cut right now on the team? You look at where we stand as far as certain players here, and I think you're going to go ahead and cut Trey Taylor off the team. We wish you the best of luck, but that gets us to 75 there. We'll go ahead and advance it, and that is where we are going to leave it, folks. I think this is going to be a really fun situation right now. I think this is going to be really cool here. I think, we're going to see some position battling. We're going to do some training camp stuff. But this team's not bad. 81 overall, 83 on the defense. So I think we're working through that. There's going to be a big opportunity to see some players kind of ball out here. I could see my guys fighting tooth and nail. Like the QBs now. We got Nowak out there. I think Quinn Ewers is probably on the outside looking in. There's a chance we're going to see Mark Cohen out there probably playing 2 quarters. Then I'll see if Jalen Milroe can do something one quarter and Nowak another. Then in week 2, I'm going to throw in Ewers and Tiller. We're going to see who's going to make it out of the preseason. But Mark Cohen's probably going to be our guy. It's going to be exciting. But Milroe's got the speed to be something exciting for the Toronto Mounties too. The running back group, I think we're in a decent spot with what guys we have. The wide receivers, I think, are going to be really fun to work through it. And, Trapp's going to have to try to figure out how to work through this. But we got Barnhart and Wheatley, and they're not too far away from having an opportunity to play on the outside. Their release isn't as good as Trapp's. So I think playing slot makes way more sense for those guys in the short term, but who knows what they end up developing down the road. I think the tight end group's going to be really fun. We might see some O-line situations there. I want to see how these guys are going to play together. Clayton, Bo Richter on the edge. We're going to see Tyree Wilson get some reps with Kerry Scott. Like, there's going to be some fun situations there. Some players I can see sitting out, like Grant and Sealer, and letting us see what we got in Barnhart and Daniels. See if those guys are going to work. Probably see if we got something in the rookie Mark Hewitt to play Sam linebacker. So we'll kind of see that mix there. Logan Wilson's probably going to take a break, so we're going to see more Dolak and Jamin Davis. Singleton is going to get some reps along with Colt Brown. So we're gonna see some things out here, see competition and see who works out. I really want to see if McCoy is going to be worth it, or does Mustafa steal it from him despite the OVR. But it's going to be interesting there. I am looking forward to this next season, folks. I think we got all the pieces to be pretty amazing, and I am looking forward to week number 1. We'll probably talk a little bit about the preseason, maybe have a little bit of a longer edit, or maybe just kind of post the whole thing out there going, hey, here's the full edit of the preseason and the decisions we made. So we might do that. That'll do it for us today, everybody. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. I appreciate it that stopped by today. Y'all have yourself a good one. As always, mount up.